So I wish more lawyers thought of offering things differently as opposed to just the old school model of just taking it off people's hands.
Welcome to the Savvy Lawyers Show, Rachel. It's fabulous to have you here.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
So Rachel is an intellectual property lawyer. She owns a law firm in Christchurch, New Zealand, called aRc Legal. And Rachel's going to tell us all about her law firm today. Rachel is definitely one of the most innovative lawyers that I've come across in New Zealand, and it's fabulous to have you here. So let's get started with some of the questions that we have for you today. So can you tell us a bit about your mission and vision for aRc Legal?
Sure. So I guess it starts from why I started aRc Legal. I'd like to think I'm quite creative. Well, I am creative myself, and they say those who can't do teach. So my aim, I guess, is to work with creative, innovative people and do the boring stuff so they can be amazing. So that's my driving force. And my vision is that creative, innovative people can access the legal support they need to get their ideas off the ground and be amazing, because often people are brilliant with ideas but not great at the back end of actually getting things done the right way. So I guess that's my vision and mission in one. Yeah.
Awesome. And so what sort of clients do you really love working with? So you're talking about creative, innovative people. Can you be a bit more specific about sort of the who?
Sure. So ideally it's small businesses. It's people who've worked for somebody else for a while and are looking to finally get their own ideas off the ground. And that might be from opening a store, selling products they're passionate about, or designing a new product which meets a need which has been frustrating them for years. And so actually helping them protect their ideas in a way that they can focus on making revenue. Or helping them come up with a great brand name. I mean, that's been one of my favorite ones, brainstorming on a new trademark to find something that really resonates with their customers. So yeah, they'll be my favorite clients. Yeah.
Awesome. And have you set some core values for your law firm?
Sure. So three main things. I like the fact that I'm an expert in my field. It's nice to be competent at something, especially when you're a mum, because there's lots of guesswork in that. So I like the fact that people know that I'm at the top of my game. I used to head the trademark team at the Intellectual Property Office, and I've worked in London.
That's right.
So it's my thing. So it's nice to know that people can trust me. I'm a professional and I'm an expert. My other core value is to be creative myself. Lots of lawyers can just say no or just tell people the law. I like to be creative in the sense of not being creative with the law, but apply the law, but actually bring solutions as well. And what's my other one? And accessible. And so accessibility is partly about affordability, because often with lawyers, they can be super expensive and therefore not accessible to small businesses, but accessible in the sense of conveying information in a palatable way. So presenting information in flowcharts or using checklists. And so not just having a 10-page document which nobody reads and nobody cares about, but actually presenting information that's accessible to people so they actually get what's being done. So those are my three core values.
Awesome. And so tell me a bit about your team. Do you have a team?
It's doubled recently, I can safely say. So I've finally taken some great advice from Scale Up, thank you. They've said all along you can't scale unless you bring in people to do the chores where you're not really adding value. And it's clearly, at the very least, economically makes more sense to pay someone else to do. So I've finally brought in a bookkeeper, admin person, which is, oh my God, why didn't I do it before? And I should have been so sorry. So I've now got a person. I've set up, I've been setting up workflows over the years. I've had law students come in and look at my files and set up systems. And so I asked them to, in Google Docs, write down the processes that they use to set up files and to generate template letters and things. And so over lockdown, I built on those, and I brought in a bookkeep admin person, and now I can send my engagement letters straight to her. I send her my file notes. She opens the files. I know this seems so obvious now. She opens the file, she generates the letter, and she just sends it back to me. And then I can copy her in, and she uploads it to the file. And so same with my template letters, like notices of acceptance and registrations and things like that. I can just flick her an email with saying, NOA, please, notice of acceptance, and she just does everything. And it saves me about half an hour to an hour a day having her around, and I only work school hours, so it's a massive difference. And so I've doubled in size.
Fantastic. I always you might have heard me say that automation, like we think it's technology, but it really just means that you don't have to do something yourself. So it includes technology, but it also includes people and systems as well. So that's a great example of how you've used people to automate, to free up some of your time.
Awesome.
And so this new team member, like what is her role title?
So she actually owns her own business, and so she's contracting into me.
Right.
She doesn't have a title as such. I mean, I call her a goddess often too. She's a lifesaver, but I've set her up as I'm on Gmail with my, she's got an aRc.legal email.
Yes.
But no, she doesn't have any title as such, and it is ad hoc at the moment. And the nice thing
does she work behind the scenes? Like, does she talk to clients?
No, we don't have that kind of set up yet. Although the hope is that now I'm scaling, and it's ridiculous at the moment. It seems to be some rapid growth. I mean, the plans for world domination do involve her doing more hours, but it's nice. I guess the way that I've grown my business is nice because I've had another job up until last year, and so it's been a nice way from a revenue perspective to grow a business. And the fact that she's not reliant on me for income has been a nice way to kind of bring her in gradually, and then hopefully steal her full time would be the hope.
Yes. Oh, that's great. And so you mentioned you work school hours. So tell me a bit about the hours and the days that you're working currently.
Sure. So school holidays are fun, and so is lockdown, but as a default attempt of a rule. So yeah, I'm, I guess, the primary caregiver. My husband's got a crazy job, and so I'll start at 9 and work till 2:30. Those are the normal hours. I'm not great on time blocking. It's all the shoulds. It's kind of like dieting, isn't it? I know what I should be doing with time blocking. I have weeks that I'm better than others, but normally my morning is my most productive time. So I try and plan my day the night before, and then the first half an hour of the morning, because I find emails distracting, I clear those. I make sure nothing's changed from my plan for the day, and then I crack in. I do my hard work in the morning because that's when I'm at my extremes, in my best performance. And apologies, my dog is telling somebody off in the street. And then in the afternoon, I do more of the administrative tasks and online and social media, because that's, especially social media, that's what I enjoy the most. So that's my reward. If I've been good in the morning and done the hard stuff, I do the fun stuff in the afternoon. And so sometimes I work nights as well if I need to, but I always just communicate with my clients. They know that my primary job is my 10-year-old, because he's awesome, and I love hanging out with him, and that's what the freedom this job gives me. So I don't hide the fact that I'm parenting as well. So I say apologies if I'm emailing at 10 at night. That's my second half of the day, because I'm taking off the afternoon with my son, and it's nice that way because there's no pressure on the business or my child, and my customers still feel cared for. So I'm just honest about the hours.
And how are you honest about the hours? Like, how do you kind of educate your clients on that?
I always make it clear I've got a 5 working day turnaround, and I say, look, if you need it in a shorter time, I will do my best. But, I always just say I do have a 10-year-old, and sometimes you can lose a day unexpectedly. So I can safely commit to a 5 working day. You can make that work.
Is that a conversation with each client, or do you sort of have it wrapped up in your client charter or terms of engagement?
No, it's normally a conversation with the client, because oftentimes, I mean, from the automation perspective, people can automatically book a call with me, and I'll have a chat. And so I guess I keep it real, because I'm working with small businesses. Many of them are juggling children, etc., and other commitments as well. And so I guess I just have a full disclosure, and I say, look, you know, I've got a child, and I say, so I will be emailing you at night. It's not a sign of lack of efficiency. It just, for some reason, I've had to prioritize, you know, my child over delivery in the afternoon, some delivery.
Yeah.
So it's part of that.
It's good that you set those boundaries. I think that that was something I had to learn when I had my daughter, my first child, and I've noticed, particularly since sort of COVID hit, that because I'm part of a number of different lawyers groups, mostly Australian ones, and I see a lot of lawyers posting in those groups about how you know, their clients are very demanding, how their clients don't understand this, how their clients don't understand that. And often there can be quite a bit of blame on the clients, but I think that, you know, we need to focus on what we can control, and we can control what we communicate and how we educate people. And so, you know, setting some boundaries and being really clear about those, I think, would solve some of those problems. So it's great to hear that you've found a way forward there. So yeah. So what about your firm's revenue? Can you tell us about that? Obviously, you've been going just over a year. Is that right? Full time with the business?
Exactly. Yeah. So I launched 6 years ago when I left private practice, and I went into an in-house role, 30 hours a week. Plus parenting. So, you know, lots of free time to have a business on the side. And it was literally just to be responsive to clients who still needed a bit of help. So if I had capacity, I said yes. So it was very small. And it's been gradually growing year on year. And so, yeah, last June, I was trying to work for somebody else and homeschool, which is so easy. And my husband was fairly blunt in his language and said I wasn't being the most pleasant person to live around, which is fair. And so he asked me to pick one, whether I wanted to work for somebody else or run a business, because I couldn't do both, and homeschool. And so I picked the scary one, which was going all in on my business. And it's just been so exciting. And so every year, basically, I've been doubling in revenue. And this year, I've already brought in as much as I did last year. So it's just all set up to be scaling, which is really exciting.
And what about your profit margin? What does that look like on the revenue that you're bringing in?
It's pretty good. I mean, I spent a lot last year on training and marketing because I wanted to go quickly. And as much as, I mean, I tell my clients, yes, you can wing it yourself. It's going to take you twice as long and you'll end up with a terrible result. Last year, I mean, I guess the profit margin wasn't great, but this year it's definitely greatly increased because all the base of the training is there, and now I'm just putting it into effect. And I've got a brand new beautiful website thanks to all my training with Scale Up, and that's just I'm getting so much good feedback from that. So yeah, no, it's going well.
Awesome. And are you willing to tell us what your profit margin percentage is?
I haven't even looked at it this year, which is very bad. I know on the bright side of from like Christmas of direct debiting, paying myself, which is nice, as opposed to fairly ad hoc, giving myself bonuses.
Are you paying yourself a PAYE salary?
I'm paying myself, yes, and I'm putting money into a savings account for my tax as well. So.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. And can you tell us a bit about, you've told us a bit about the types of clients you serve, which is really, really interesting. And it's awesome to hear that you've got a really clear niche. And so can you tell us how you find those clients?
Sure. So I still don't have to advertise, which is nice in lots of ways. I mean, I've been doing IP law for 20 years, so I know one or two people now, which is nice. But I've got lots of different funnels of referrals. I've been in various Facebook groups for small businesses, jump on there at least once every day and just help out with free information and advice. And so somebody in most of those groups, I mean, everybody's got a trademark. Somebody will ask a question about trademarks or copyright. And I normally have 2 or 3 people tag me in because it's nice and easy. Then people know exactly what I do. It's not, abstract. So I've got lots of people doing my marketing for me, which is wonderful. They all tag me in. And then just from accountants, when they're setting up companies, I've got various accountants referring work to me. And also general practice lawyers, because most lawyers, they might know a bit about IP, but there's a level of knowledge, of course, that I have that I can add on top. So
sure.
often lawyers either bring me in or they'll just actually refer work through to me. So I've got lots of different, and I also do lots of education at the University of Canterbury here in Christchurch.
Right.
And at the aRc Institute, which is like a polytech, and at a couple of other local schools like Te Wananga or Aotearoa. They have a small business class, which I've been lecturing at for about more than 10 years as well. So lots of people know me. I've been around for so long.
And so with the more sort of formal referral relationships, like with accountants, for example, do you sort of actively set them up with marketing collateral that they can share with their clients, or is it quite informal in that they'll just say, hey, here's Rachel's number, give her a call? Like, how do you manage like sort of the quality of leads that they're sending your way?
Well, in lots of ways, lawyers and accountants, they're my ideal client, because they're people who, they're one of my ideal clients, I guess. They're people who know that they can't do it themselves, they need help. So they're already pre-vetted in lots of ways, as opposed to people who come through social media. Often they are DIYers and they check out the price and they can't afford it. So that's a different market that I'm trying to work on meeting. But the accountants and lawyers clients, they're already people who are willing to pay for professional advice. They know they need it. So actually, the likelihood of them coming on board as a client is very high. It's been fairly informal to date because I haven't had a lot of capacity to take on too many new clients. But what I have had is a set fee list for accountants and lawyers. So they know if they're referring people on and people say, how much will it be? They know exactly how much it is.
Right.
And that's a big thing. I base things on an hourly rate, but all my costs are fixed fees. So I don't want to fight about invoices. That's not my thing. So I'd rather know exactly how much it is and how much it is as well. And it's slightly less for referrals through lawyers and accountants, because of course it's cheaper for me to onboard them if they've already been pre-vetted to some level.
And so because you rely on referrals at the moment, do you kind of go through ebbs and flows in terms of number of clients coming in? Like, how do you sort of control that?
I do 100%. So like Christmas and like December, January are very flat because, lots of accountants and lawyers take that off as well.
Yes.
I've only been this 1 year, so it was probably the first year that I found it quite hard, with Christmas and January being so slow. It's been a great time for working on more of my automation on my workflows.
Yes.
And if I'm getting asked the same question more than 5 times, I always try and build a tool which will answer that. So it not only adds to my website strength, but it also obviously saves me time. And it is something that I'm going to turn into a book. So I'm going to have all these tables and flowcharts, etc., which a book is basically building itself. So dead time is still, it's really exciting time because I feel like I'm still growing my business, but in a different way.
And so do you offer your legal services online?
I do partly. I'm not quite sure if like the automated tool is quite where I want to be, as much as, the most, I guess, adjacent tool to what I do are privacy policies and website terms and conditions. And so I have automated those online.
Yes.
Because I'm not advertising and I'm not really actively selling them. I'm still of two minds of whether or not they're actually bringing in my ideal client in some ways, because my ideal client are people that I want to work with. So I'm working through that in my brain, and whether or not it's more online courses where I want to be, something where I can actually sell one thing I've done once many times. So I'm working through that, but at the moment, I'm building all the things.
Sometimes you just feel like all you're doing is building this enormous thing, and when is it going? Like you're just like pushing a boulder up the hill. But then, just believing that at some point it'll start rolling. But the hard bit is kind of keeping the faith, right?
Exactly. But something I've learned from you is the done is better than none, and I'm definitely taking that approach. And so I'm getting things up on my website. So at least, and obviously the book would be a dream, but why not get those tools that will be built into the book in the meantime out there and tested and validated? So then when the book comes, it's going to be an easy thing just to piece it all together.
Right.
So I am doing the done is better than none. But
that's exciting. And can you tell us about, like, what would you say would be your most effective growth strategy to date?
Probably bringing on the admin person, to be
Yes.
honest, which I really do regret not doing that earlier. And it is scary when you're so small to commit to paying somebody else when you're barely paying yourself originally. But I really wish I'd done that earlier. And setting out the workflows and automating those tools. I mean, just the faff that I spent each time on was amazing. So to be honest, it's probably those little things, well, not little things, but bringing on a person, automating the processes and clarifying what the processes were. So freeing up 2 to 3 hours every day so I could actually work on the big picture stuff. That's been my, I mean, having extra 2 or 3 hours a day has been amazing.
Yeah.
That's the biggest.
Yeah, awesome. And then just to kind of close things off, can you tell me a bit about what do you see, or what is one thing you would change about the legal industry?
It's a big thing, really, and it's something that came about through Scale Up, but also working with a pricing expert who's Natalie Coombe, and she's amazing. And it was my tension between wanting to help small businesses who often have, no to little budget, and wanting to provide that professional expert help, and recognizing that my hourly rate, well, when I left private practice, 10 years ago, it was $350 an hour. So, I mean, it was crazy money. And so that tension between wanting to help people, because my parents were missionaries, and knowing that I should have a price point where people respect my expert levels. The big thing I'd like to change is a service like I've designed with my Brand Booster, where people are often more than competent to do things themselves, where lawyers can empower their clients and teach them how to do some of the legwork and the boring admin, and then we just check their work. So that's what I do with the Brand Booster service that I've designed through your program, thank you, where I give people a workbook and they actually do all the grunt work for me. We jump on a call, I check their work and give them some more homework and some guidance. They do some more homework and I jump on another call. So they still get the same end professional result, but they do the 4 to 5 hours grunt work, which I would rather not be doing. So it's kind of selfish. And I only have to charge a third of the price. And so it's a much easier product to sell because it's cheaper. They understand more the value of what I'm offering as well, so as opposed to me going and doing it and then not really respecting it and then whinging about how much I'm charging. They see how much work's involved, how much skill is involved. And so not only is it a good marketing tool because they know I'm really good at my job, it's cheaper and more people can afford it. So I wish more lawyers thought of offering things differently as opposed to just the old school model of just taking it off people's hands and offering the whole product. So,
yeah, I think that sort of boils down to something that I'm extremely passionate about. It's really about helping lawyers to empower clients so that they understand what it is they're signing and what it is that they're looking at and what it is that is actually going on, because I don't think many clients actually really understand that. They're just kind of like, sign.
Exactly. And they're like, oh, I paid $1,500 for this document. What? But if they do some of the legwork themselves, I think they'd respect more the work and skill involved in coming to that document or coming to that result, as opposed to, I mean, anything which looks nice and simple and easy to understand took hours and hours to get to that stage.
All right, Rachel, thank you so much for joining me. Where can people go and check you out? What's your website and how can they find you on social media?
Sure. So my website is www.arc.legal. And been a bit slack on social media lately, but I'm back on track again. So on Facebook is ARC Legal. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm occasionally on Instagram. My ideal clients aren't really on Instagram as much. They're more in the Facebook group. And I've set up a little group, which I haven't done much with, but that's my other dream for another day, called ARC Hub, where I'd like to try and connect professional advisors for small businesses and have a authoritative place for people to ask questions from different accountants in marketing and people like that. But that's on my distraction light bulb list. So that's down the list of dreams. So
yeah. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much, Rachel. And I look forward to catching up with you soon.
That was great. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks.
If there's anything these past months have shown us, it's that the time to make lasting, impactful change in the legal industry is right now. So I want to challenge you to shake things up and create change today. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and share this video with your lawyer friends. See you next week.